Are you curious about to know the mysteries of nature? So let's begin with explorer journey with physics. Let's start this journey in simple and exciting way with the most fascinating book, Seven Brief Lessons on Physics, written by a famous theoretical physicist Carlo Rovelli. In previous video, we saw the first lesson with the story of Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity, named as the most beautiful of theories. Continuation with this, let's start the second lesson which explored the theoretical base of modern physics, named as quanta, the basic of quantum mechanics, which is now part of our everyday life in form of computers, LEDs, photodetectors, laser, GPS systems, and so on. The story of quantum mechanics started with the question that troubled physicists for centuries. The question was, what exactly is light? When we talked about this earlier, we came to the conclusion that light is a wave, or at least light behaves like a wave, as reflection, refraction, diffraction, and interference of light. So, for most of the 19th century, physicists agreed that light is a wave, but with new discoveries made them again start to question and think. When in 1901 Max Planck solved something called the ultraviolet catastrophe, came from the concept of blackbody radiation. What is blackbody radiation? You have probably seen when you heat up something, and if you heat it up hot enough, they will actually start to glow red. That's an example of blackbody radiations. So, if something gets to a really high temperature, the individual molecule that comprise the object start to vibrate very fast. In that vibration causes the emission of light and so that appears red. Another example of something that emits blackbody radiation is the sun, which is the star of our solar system. We can assume a black box has a tiny hole in it. The hole is actually a lot smaller relative to the box. Then, as you heat the box and the molecule comprising it heat up, they get very hot and eventually all those molecules go to thermal equilibrium. They're all the same temperature and all the molecules are vibrating at a particular frequency or particular wavelength, and the light that comes out of this hole is going to have the same frequency and the wavelength as the vibration of the molecule in the black box. So that's blackbody radiation. Before 1901, they used classical mechanics to model everything. Here, the blackbody radiation spectrum. Firstly, that are used to model this using Rayleigh-Jean's law, but as you set the wavelength going to zero. In other words, as you go left on this curve, the radiance should go to infinity, which really doesn't make sense because that's not what we observe here. So for high frequency, lower wavelength, the Rayleigh-Jean's law doesn't work well at all. It really fails to predict any significant behavior. Max Planck tried very hard to get a model that fit in this data. He derived the equation known as Planck's law was actually very simple but the concept was very new. Planck's law says that electromagnetic energy takes the form of tiny discrete packet called quanta. In other words, at a certain point you can't divide energy into anything smaller than these packets, and the energy in each quanta is equal to the frequency of light times a very small number called Planck constant represented by the letter h. If you take Planck's law into account when you try to predict the intensity of blackbody radiation, it predicts the experimental result perfectly. But now there was this whole new idea. Physicists now rethinking everything. Energy could only exist in discrete packets called quanta. Before, physicists thought energy was a kind of continuous flow, but it turned out that at a certain point you couldn't divide up energy into smaller amount. Again, Einstein played a big part in reworking physics using this new information. He suggested a way to improve feather light travel in the discrete packet and experimental involving the photoelectric effect and won a Nobel Prize for it in 1921. The photoelectric effect described what happens when you shine a beam of light on a metal plate. The photoelectric effect occurs when light shines on a metal. Sometimes electrons are emitted. Heinrich Hertz, a German physicist, discovered the photoelectric effect in 1887, but he couldn't explain it correctly. The wave theory of light implies that photoelectric emission is the result of an overall heating so that it does not occur until the temperature of the metal rises to where the average kinetic energy is large enough to escape the binding force of metal. This would take several minutes to occur. Light of any frequency will cause electron to be emitted. The more intense the light, the more kinetic energy the emitted electron will have. But what actually happens? Light below a certain cutoff frequency, no matter how intense, will now cause any electron to be emitted. Light above the cutoff frequency, even if it's not very intense, will always cause electron to be emitted. Above the cutoff frequency, turning up the intensity produces more electrons but does not change the maximum kinetic energy of electrons. Einstein proposed that light is made up of packet of energy which is called photons. The quantum theory of light says that a single incident photon, if it has sufficient energy, interacts with electron individually and can transfer energy to a single electron rather than a bit of energy to many. If the kinetic energy of photon is large enough, then the electron will escape the binding force of metal and can be emitted. Since this requires no heating time, photoelectric emission can occur immediately, but only if the energy as determined by its frequency is large enough to expel the electron with a single collision. The explanations in terms of light being made of photons to eject one electron from the metal take one photon. Electrons are bound to the metal by a binding energy which is called work function, which differs from metal to metal. If the photon energy is less than the work function, there will be no electron ejection. Einstein said that light energy travels in packets we now call photons, which would essentially make light behave like a particle. The results of all these tests with the photoelectric effect match up with the predictions of particle theory of light. So photons really exist. Light travels in discrete packet and behaves like a particle. But what about all those other experiments that showed light behaving like a wave? Well, the thing is, light can behave like both. In certain circumstances, it can behave like a particle. In other, it can behave like a wave. This is called the wave-particle duality. A century later, the equation of quantum mechanics and their consequences are used daily in varying fields by physicists, engineers, chemists and biologists. They are extremely useful in many technology. Without quantum mechanics, there would be no transistor. Yet they remain mysterious, for they do not describe what happens to a physical system but only describe how a physical system affects another physical system. What does it mean? Does it mean that we only lack a piece of puzzle, or does it mean, as it seems to me, that we must accept the idea that reality is only interaction? Our knowledge grows in real terms. It allows us to do new things that we had previously not even imagined. But the growth has opens new questions, new mysteries. For exploring new mysteries and concept of nature, keep in touch with us by pressing subscribe button given below the video. If you like the video, please like, share and comment below.